Soon, Red Dead Online will be turning 6 years old once November 27th arrives. So I decided to make this top 10 list of the most pointless fixes and changes ever made in Red Dead Online. And some of these fixes and changes were either completely unnecessary or they completely solved nothing for the game at all. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the video. Hopefully you enjoy. On the number one spot, and that is removing the horse and posse custom names. Around November 24th, 2024, there was a patch that was released out of nowhere fixing a few bugs and making some very unnecessary changes. As you can see here, you'll either just see posse in uppercase letters, or you'll just see the player's name. And over the 5 years that Red Dead Online has been around, I really don't understand why they would just remove the ability for you to make custom names. And yet, GTA Online has not removed the ability for you to make custom names for your CEO, or hell, even your license plate. But again, that's Rockstar's logic for you. But moving on to the second list, and that is being able to sample the legendary carcass, but not being able to sell the animal carcass. Before the Blood Moon update came out, you were able to sample the legendary animal and then sell the carcass to crypts. But soon as the Blood Moon update changed it to one where you cannot donate the legendary animal to crypts if you sampled it. Again, another pointless change that nobody asked for and should have just been left untouched instead. Moving on to the number 3 spot, and that is the Hall of Arms maps being cycled one at a time. August 10th, 2021 is when we were introduced to 5 Call of Arms maps in the Blood Money update. But soon enough, in October 5th, 2021 is when we got introduced to the cycle of having one Call of Arms map coming in every Tuesday. Evidently, this cycle did end when we got the new Halloween Call of Arms. But unfortunately, this cycle would end up returning when we start receiving monthly updates. But instead of one, we actually ended up getting 2 maps that actually would end up returning. But again, it doesn't matter because they weren't new maps, they were the same maps that are being cycled in repeatedly. Luckily, this cycle didn't end up returning in 2023 or 2024. Thank God. Moving on to the 4th list, and that is not being able to skip cutscenes. Now, this might most likely be a bug they probably haven't fixed yet, but regardless, I'm still going to count this as a change, since it's been around ever since the Blood Money update came out. And yet, they have not done anything about this. Again, I don't think somebody wants to sit for the same cutscene they've seen a previous amount of times. On the number 5 spot, and that is changes to Slippery Bastard. When the Frontier Pursuits update came out, Slippery Bastard ended up getting his first rework. And the first rework of Slippery Bastard was absolutely terrible. It could easily get countered by one simple ability card, and that is Paint It Black. This made the ability card absolutely useless to even use. Then we ended up getting introduced to the Moonshiners update, which made changes to Slippery Bastard that actually made it decent to use. In general, the changes to Slippery Bastard were pretty pointless just because Slippery Bastard, even before the rework, was a hit or miss ability card. And speaking of the pointless change, down on the number 6 spot, and that is changing the fire rate of weapons. This change was once again introduced in the Frontier Pursuits update. Now don't get me wrong, being able to pull out and aim your weapon faster is a very nice change, but seriously, do they really need to change the fire rate of weapons? I mean, just check out the comparison between the two. Again, personally for me, I think they should have just left the fire rate of weapons alone. But hey, it is what it is when it comes to the fire rate of weapons. Just don't try to do it with the M1899 pistols. Those guns go insane. Next on the 7th spot, and that is removing tonics from the free roam train. Believe it or not, there was actually some useful items when you robbed the free roam train. Back in the online beta, you can actually find and farm some open miracle tonics. Now I know it doesn't sound very useful, but it's better than robbing the free roam train and then checking the cars only to see nothing for you to rob. I mean, what does the free roam train even have to offer for you besides you being able to drive it or ride it? On to the number 8 spot, and that is Outlaw Pass 4 and 5 giving you less gold bars than previous passes. With Outlaw Pass 4 being 40 gold bars and Outlaw Pass 5 being 35 gold bars, the amount of gold you actually end up getting in return will not actually be exactly 40 or 35 gold bars. Instead, you would get 30 for Outlaw Pass 4 and 25 for Outlaw Pass 5. This change was absolutely unnecessary, and no one, and I mean no one, wanted this at all. And the fact that Outlaw Pass 4 and 5 actually ended up having skill pamphlets made it all that more necessary to get. And if you didn't end up getting Outlaw Pass 4 or 5, you'll actually end up missing out one of the most important things in the past, which is the skill pamphlets. Also, if you didn't end up buying Outlaw Pass 4 or 5 in the first week, you'll actually end up missing out a 10 gold bar rebate. This ended up making Outlaw Pass 4 and 5, well, mostly 5, ended up being the most hated passes of them all. But soon enough, the Blood Money update ended up reintroducing the Quick Draw Club, which ended up giving back all your gold bars. But unfortunately, the only pass we have now is the Halloween Pass 2, which has returned 3 times. I'm pretty sure people are going to start hating that pretty soon. Now on to the number 9 spot, which is changes to daily challenges. Oh boy. Now back before the Bounty Hunters expansion update, you can actually go on a very long daily challenge streak, even as far as 400 days, or even more than that if you continue to log into the game every day. But of course, Rockstar being the storm of bad news, we ended up getting information about the daily challenge changes. They not only ended up changing how streaks work in the daily challenges, but they ended up nerfing the amount of gold you can actually receive. Now this was a change that didn't really need to exist at all. Seeing this alert on screen even before we got the update was a bit of a warning sign. And speaking of a warning, the final change I'm going to end up mentioning on this list is pretty horrendous, and well, how this even managed to get through to even begin with. But anyways, onto the number 10 spot is fixing legendary animals. And I'm talking about the very first patch of when this was released. August 11th, 2020 was when Red Dead Online ended up getting a patch that was meant to fix legendary animal spawns. Rockstar ended up completely breaking Red Dead Online so badly, left it in the worst state possible, that they literally had to revert a patch. Yep, that is Rockstar at its very finest. Again, hopefully you enjoyed this list I ended up putting together, and stay tuned for more.